So we're gonna start with some breaking news real quick in terms of the Chrome. They just made a trade with the Whipsnakes, which sends Nick Grill to the Chrome in exchange for Justin Gutterding. So obviously Gutterding, in my opinion, was one of the best point getters in the entire PLL the last 2 seasons. 2019 he was either top 10 or top 3, and then in 2020 he was either top 10 or top 3. He was top 3 one year, top 10 the other. So we'll see what he does in a new system. It's looking like Matt Rambo is most likely going to be out for a while. He's been out for the last couple weeks. Um, believe it's a shoulder issue. So this isn't a good sign for people with Matt Rambo. But if you have Justin Gutterding on your team still, this is a good sign for that. Now, in terms of Atlas Chrome, uh, Costabile had a fucking hell of a day. Hell of a weekend, but we'll start with a hell of a day. 6 points with a 2-pointer on the day as well. Caraway and Teat both had 4 points. Caraway with a hat trick. Trevor Baptiste with 3 points. Law with 3 points. And then Cockerton Bucaro and Atkin all with 2 points. And Romar Dennis with 2 points. So good looking out there, with all these guys scoring overall, especially Trevor Baptiste. I didn't really love him in this matchup, but I liked him. And I loved him in the next one. So if you're going to play someone all weekend, I thought Trevor Baptiste was your guy. He went fucking 83% at the faceoff dot with 19 ground balls, a PLL record, and 25 for 30, also a PLL record, and with 2 goals and an assist on 4 shots. He was fucking electric. Defensively, there wasn't too much to talk about. Obviously, Baptiste with 19 ground balls, Costabile 4 ground balls, Rexroad 2 calls turnovers. But beyond that, Colarusso played in replacement for God, I'm going to blank on his name, but he went 57% in net, which, ain't too bad. Ain't too bad. I'll take it. On the other side of the ball with the Chrome, their team didn't really put up the points I thought it was going to. Jackson Morrill continued to produce with 3 goals, had a hat trick. Jordan McIntosh joined with that hat trick club himself with 3 goals. And then Dylan Malloy with 4 points. I haven't really seen too much out of him this season. I'm going to take a quick look into his stats. Played last week, had 4 points. And then in the next game had 2. So he's got four goals in 2 games, which is pretty decent looking. Tarafenko had 2 points, 1 calls turnovers, 6 ground balls, so he played well as a short stick D-mid. Joel White with 4 calls turnovers, 6 ground balls, and 1 point. He continues to dominate. And then we have Barclay, James Barclay, 2 calls turnovers, 2 ground ball, 1 point. So decent day out of him. Overall, though, you're really looking at the Costabile. You're really looking at the Atlas side of things, unless besides actually no, White, Morrill, McIntosh, pretty decent numbers overall. This was a good game, high scoring. Defensively, Atlas didn't have too much, but I'd say that's about it. Connor Farrell obviously really struggled. I didn't like him to put him in, but I didn't think that he was going to do that bad. And then John Galloway continues with this bit of his streaky back and forth performances. Just under 50%, so not the worst, but not too good either. Next, we have Archers Redwoods. This game I was pretty interested in. 2 good teams. One team first in the league in the Redwoods, and then the other team going from first to worst pretty quickly in the Archers. Archers came out a little slow, but then picked it up and never really looked back. A fairly competitive game, but after the Archers gained their lead, it was pretty much over from there. On the Archer side of the ball, Marcus Holman with 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists. So fucking hat trick out of him, a couple assists. Good to see him back in it. Tom Schreiber with 2 and 2, 4 points on the day. Trey Leclerc with 3 points. I believe this is his first weekend. No, I'm sorry, it's not his first weekend playing. But he blew up in this game, had a hat trick, but this typically doesn't really happen all too often. An individual in my rankings video who I said I wish did a little bit more was Ryan Ambler, and he probably didn't listen to my video but did respond with a hat trick of his own. Grant Cement, a bit of a slow day in terms of what we're used to with 3 points, 2 goals, 1 assist. And then Latrell Harris, Will Manny, both with 2 points. Again, Will Manny, a bit of a slow-looking day on his end. Defensively, though, Mark McNeil, 2 calls, turnovers, 2 ground balls. Latrell Harris, 2-1, and then the 2 points. Dominic Hasek, 1 and 4 ground balls. Ratliff, same thing, 1 calls, turnover, 4 ground balls. And then Gittleman had 3 2-pointers given up, which is tough, but saved 63% of shots. And he got the dub, so how mad could you really be? Stephen Kelly obviously struggled because, you're going up against T.D. Erlin, who we'll get to in a second. On the Redwood side of the ball, Sergio Perkovic with 4 points, including 1 2-pointer. Matt Cav with 3 points, and then after that, it was Pennell, Garnsey, and Harrison all with 2 points. Pennell and Garnsey both with goals, Harrison with the 2-pointer. Not a whole bunch to see here. Miles Jones, pretty quiet. Jules Henningberg, pretty quiet. Not the greatest day out of them. Defensively, Garrett Epple was really the only guy that you could look at and be like, oh yeah, it wasn't too bad. He had 2 calls, turnovers, 2 ground balls, and then obviously T.D. Erlin, 74%, 12 ground balls, so pretty solid on his own part. And then Timmy Troutner, 58% in net. Overall, definitely some disappointments on the Redwood side of things, but those days will happen. I don't think they'll be all too consistent, though. Next, with the Water Dogs and Whips, we have, I believe his name is Ethan. Yep, Ethan Walker with 4 points, had 3 assists on the day. Kieran McArdle had 1 2-pointer and 2 assists. Ryan Brown, could you guess what he had? He had a hat trick, no assists, 3 points in the day. Ryan Conrad with 2 goals. Rylan Reese with the 2-pointer. And then Zach Currier with a pretty quiet day with just 1 point himself. And then defensively speaking, Eli Gobrecht, 2 calls, turnovers, 4 ground balls with 1 point. Ben Randall, 2 calls, turnovers, 2 ground balls, not a decent, pretty decent outing by him. Ethan Walker continued to add on to his own resume with 5 ground balls, including a 1 cause turnover. Zach Currier with 9 ground balls, who would have thought. Jake Withers went 74% on the day with 7 ground balls. And Dylan Ward went 76% of the day with 19 saves. So a hell of a day out of those special individuals in terms of Withers and Ward. If you have both of those go off, it's not going to be... It's going to be hard to lose that game. On the other side of the ball, Whipsnakes, Jay Carlson with the Hattie. And then after that, Tierney, Chan, and Chuck both with 2 points. And then that's about it for them, man. Not too much going on offensively. Zed Williams with 9 shots, but no points, nothing. Defensively, Matthew Dunn had a hell of a game. 2 calls, turnovers, 7 ground balls. Bernlohr, as you could expect, 4 ground balls with a calls turnover. Earnhardt, 3 ground balls with a calls turnover. Young with those same stats. Squires of whatever day with 1 calls turnover, 2 ground balls. So nothing to be too proud of here. And then surprisingly, Joe Nardella, 27%, 5 of 18 with only 4 ground balls. So bit of a struggle on their end between injuries and just struggle of playing. Bernlohr, though, 61%, 14 saves. Can't complain all too much. Next, we have Chaos and Chrome. This game was interesting. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Chaos, but I still love Josh Byrne. He comes through with a hat trick and 5 points. Chris Cloutier, to me, a bit of hit or miss, but he hit today, 4 goals. Dane Smith with 3 points on the day. I love me some Daner. And then you have Frazier and CJ Costabile both with 2 points. CJ had a pretty good day himself. Surdick with 3 calls, turnovers, 2 ground balls. Rowlett, 2 and 2. Adler, 1 and 5 with 2 points, going 48%, which is pretty good for Max Adler. 48%. You'll take it. Blaze with 67% with 20 saves. I mean, come on, man. It's just almost unfair. And then on the other side of things, back with the Chrome, Kevin Rogers had a hell of a day. I don't really know where the fuck this guy came out of. He had 5 points, um, 2 goals, one 2 goal, one 2 pointer, and an assist. So he had himself 5 points off of 9 shots, shooting 33%. He's been playing a decent amount. Although he has not really produced all too much besides one weekend. But he produced this weekend, so I wouldn't. It doesn't seem fantasy viable, but he had a hell of a weekend. You got to give him that. Jackson Murrell again with 3 points, pretty decent by him. 2 goals and assist, and then a whole bunch of dudes with 2 points. Casabiel, Heacock, Crotty, Malloy, Justin Anderson with 3 points as well. And then defensively, doesn't get too much better than this. Joel White, 3 calls, turnovers, 6 ground balls. John Modernsky, 2 and 3. Ryan Beville, 2 and 1. CJ Casabiel, 1-4, the 2 points. Ned Crotty, 1-3, 2 points. Connor Farrell, 57%, 9 ground balls. Not too bad on his own part. And then Chaos, Max Adler, almost 50%. So can't be too mad at either side of that. And then the last game on the weekend, the Atlas and Cannons had a hell of a game here. Very close. Love to see it. Brian Costabile again continues to fucking work it. 5 points, 2 goals, 1 2-pointer, 1 assist. Dox Atkin, probably fucking up his name, but 4 points, 1 and 1 on him. Bucaro and Teat both with 3 points each. Teat a bit of a quote-unquote slow day compared to what we're used to, but still back-to-back games in one weekend getting 3 points in each. Can't complain. Eric Law with 2 goals, which is nice to see. He had himself 3 points, shooting 67%, which is nice. And then Cade Van Rapphorst, Craig Chick, 3 calls turnovers, 5 ground balls, and 1 calls turnover, 4 ground balls, respectively. And like I said, Trevor Baptiste continued to fucking rock it. 19 of 25, 76% with 9 ground balls. And on the other side of things, Lyle Thompson had himself 6 points with 4, including 4 goals. Stephen Rafis, 4 points, including a hat trick for him. Who do you have here? Shane Jackson with a hat trick himself. Ryan Drenner with 2 goals and an assist. Offensively pretty decent and pretty typical besides Paul Rabel. Paul Rabel had a bit of a tough day. And then defensively, Jake Pulver, 4 calls turnovers, which is huge. Don't see that all too often. Zach Goodrich, 2 calls turnovers, 1 ground ball. Brody Merrill, 1 and 4. Morocco, 5. Tim Edwards, 4. Those are ground balls. And then fucking Reisman, man. Kevin Reisman, only 3 for 20, going 15% on faceoff. Can't have that happen. No ground balls. And Morocco came in huge, like he usually does, with 19 saves. 63% with 2 2-pointers against. Good amount of 2-pointers this week. Maybe they're starting to figure it out. Yeah, overall, I'm excited for next week, especially with Gutterding. If you have him or if he's available, I would definitely pick him up. And that's about it, man. Last week was good. Good lacrosse, close games, nice blowouts, a little bit of everything.